Computer. Hi, folks. This is part two of episode 7 of the Master and Apprentice Show. 7.2, maybe, right?
Yeah, I guess so. We kind of got interrupted by a Zoom limitation.
I'm still Gary and he's still Jacob. We didn't flip personalities or some crap like that. So
Yeah, we're not May and OSHA. We don't swap, you know?
that's right. We don't swap. That's right. That's right. Okay.
But
So,
yeah, so last time we
yeah.
were talking about the flashback episodes, and we
Last
still
time.
want to pick up with that. So
Yeah.
take it away.
Couple things quick that I wanted to talk about those flashback episodes was that whole thing where the witches were kind of taking control of their minds.
Mm.
Tanaka, especially. I mean, he went absolutely nuts, and we find out that through, I think, comic books and the things that Leslie Headland said, he's in self exile because he used his claws on Torben, and that's forbidden.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so that was an interesting piece of Wookiee lore that we.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but I mean, come to think of it, that does make some sense, especially for a Jedi to be so confrontational to use, the Wookiee claws. I mean, if it's forbidden for regular Wookiees to use it, I can imagine it's even more forbidden for someone like a Jedi Wookiee to use it like that. Um, so I thought, yeah, that was a pretty cool little tidbit too. But I also thought it was really interesting that um Andara was able to snap him out of it, and as a result, all of the power that the witches were using caused them all to die. And this was the biggest thing for me that I didn't understand in episode 3 was how did all these witches die for someone like Osha to not realize that it was a Jedi that did it? Because I figured
Fire killed him.
it didn't, because they were all pretty well intact, and I figured, well, if the lightsabers did it, she would have seen the wounds, so how would that have made any sense? But no, it's because they all died spontaneously, so to speak, through severing a force connection or something like that, which I thought was a really unique way to do it and keep Osha in the dark because she wouldn't have known. There's nothing to give it away. So I thought that was confusing in episode 3, but I thought episode 7 cleared it up real good, and it really left that mystery, or sorry, it really solved that mystery for me. And the way that it did it too, the way episode 3 had clips and then 7, reused some of those clips but showed it from a different perspective. I thought that was really cool because it gave some insight on the choice that Saul had to make. We thought May just fell at the end of episode 3. We didn't know what exactly happened, but Saul intentionally let her do that just to save Osha,
Yeah.
which is where his guilt comes from because he thought for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another interesting tidbit too, why he gets his guilt, why he feels so bad, and maybe why he tries to harbor some of it away and chooses to not expose it a lot. He felt that his destiny was to train Osha. He says that in episode 7, and in doing so, tries to force that destiny upon himself by letting May go down into a hole, which isn't very Jedi of him because it doesn't show his inner peace. It shows how tunnel visioned he was, which I said that last part for us. So. But no, I thought those flashbacks did a really good job of exposing what happened and exposing, somehow how the corruption of the Jedi wasn't just something that happened in the prequels. It's been something that's been building ever since, maybe the Rule of Two or something happened with the Sith. It's been slowly developing for a long time.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yep.
Interesting. And then, of course, there was the episode where they went to what was the planet name of the planet that Kelnock ended up on? Kafir.
It was. Shit, I can't remember.
We're not supposed to swear.
I almost, yeah, I stopped though.
You caught yourself.
I
Anyway,
stopped. I show restraint too. I'm like a Jedi or something. I don't know.
through this because obviously we're limited on time here, but
Oh, Kofar.
you got it, baby. There you go. You're the one that coming up.
I got it. So yeah, but Kofar was where
They all
Kanaka.
for a hot minute.
Yeah, so that was so what is it? The way that they named, we didn't talk about the naming convention for the episodes, but the way that they did it was really neat because whenever Osha and May were together, the names were one word, but whenever they were split up, it was one word slash another word.
I didn't catch that, but you were.
Yeah, to show that they were separated, which I thought was a really cool way to do it. In both episodes 4 and 5, where they were on Kofar, where Kanaka was, had just one word because they were both on the same planet trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Day was was the first one, or just a big hunt for Kalnaka, showing Kamir as this bumbling oaf that we knew him as. I didn't think it was a stretch to assume that he was the guy behind all this because just everything about him seemed really manipulative. But at the same time, he was just a bumbling oaf. So I think he slid under everybody's radar, reasonably so. Um, and so Dave just exposed how May was trying to get away from him in a weird way at the end of it. How she was like, "I don't really need you around. If Osha's alive, then all your lies are apparent to me." Just to expose him at the end of episode 4 as well, he wasn't exposed, but the Sith Master stepped out and was like, "Well, I've been here all along. Haha. I don't need you to kill Kalnaka. I can do it myself, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I thought that was a really cool dynamic. And the Knight gave us some of, I think, one of the best lightsaber choreographies we've gotten for the last like couple years at least. Like, I thought that was so good. They did a really good job of that.
I really enjoyed that too. I think they
Yep.
from they learned from the prequels there, obviously. I mean, I think they tried.
Mhm.
Uh,
Exactly. And like the series in general incorporated a lot of unique fighting techniques. We've already mentioned this a little bit with like how it used martial arts, but it incorporated cortosis in Kamir's helmet and wrist blades or wrist cuffs, whatever, to show, something from Legends, right? To deactivate lightsabers, which is really cool. Not a part of the same episode, but we got to see the light whip for Venestra, which was really cool. So yeah, so there's a lot of unique things that it brought in to not just like the canon in general, but just like brought into live action that we got to see more clearly. And I thought it did a really amazing job of establishing some shots with that really piqued my interest firstly, because I didn't know about some of those things. And yeah, so no, I thought that was a really cool way to really show those things. So yeah.
we think she might use the light whip on Camille too, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because in the episode following night, he takes off his all of his clothes for some reason. I mean, just I don't know, trying to tease Osha or something or whatever. It was,
ZZ Top has a song called "Buck Naked," so
yeah, that's kind of what it was. But it exposes a scar. I don't think it was there necessarily that she noticed it, but it was the later one where he was polishing off his Cortosis helmet that he lifted up his shirt halfway and showed a scar, which by a normal lightsaber, I think would be very unlikely that it would make that kind of scar, or it looks kind of like a lightning patch almost, but it could very well be caused by a light whip. And we find out by the end of this series that, you know, Kamir was a former Padawan or a former pupil of Vernestra. So, and that's really where I think season 2 would drive in super hard, is because now Vernestra is trying to hunt down this pupil of hers that, probably, well, actually I don't really know what happened, but there's a lot to expose there for sure. So
she's surprised that he's still alive, and that makes me think that this guy is older than.
yeah, we talked about in our conversations after these episodes ended that how Palpatine masks his dark side with his, like, he looks, younger, like a human, really, not like gross or anything when he's in the Senate. But when he gets shocked by his own lightning, when Mace Windu confronts him, gets all gross, and his shield, masking his dark side appearance goes away. And I'm curious if Kamir has one, if he's doing the same thing. But we haven't had any evidence to back it up yet because we never saw it. But if they do a season 2, maybe they will. I think that'd be kind of cool. But no, they did.
She's 150 or 60 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what's up about that. But either way, kind of coming back to it, I really thought that the light whip was cool. I really thought that all the weapons were really neat, and I thought that the fight on episode 5 was very cool, and it brought back a lot of the choreography that was pretty neat too. Um, yeah, and then at the end of that episode, we got that sister swap dynamic, which I thought was really confusing initially because Osha and May swapped places with each other after all that, and Kamir knew, and Saul did not. And this is one of those things that I mentioned before about Saul's clouded mind and his perception. He doesn't know what's going on because he's not allowing himself to observe. He's just tunnel visioned again. So, but Kamir accepts his darkness. He says this in episode 5 that I've accepted my darkness to Saul. What have you done with yours? Saul's pen, he also made a claim about how I wear a mask physically, but you do too, but just not physically. You do mentally, like metaphorically, because you're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
So Camille really beats him down, saying to Saul that you're no better than I am. You're just hiding it. I'm not. So, and I think that's the issue with that Saul has. He's hiding it all. He's not allowing himself to see anything. So he doesn't recognize May from Osha.
So,
Whereas, someone like Kamir, he does because he's accepted it. He knows what he is. So he sees things better. But no, so I thought episode 6 and honestly 5 really established that. Yeah, started developing a bad feeling in my gut for Saul. I had a feeling something was going to go bad with him, and I was right. So
we'll jump ahead to the final episode, and it did go bad for him. It
horribly.
started out interesting. Well, at the end of episode 6, OSHA puts that helmet on. Oh, I want to go.
Mhm.
We were talking about the Knights of Ren connection, possibly.
Yeah, yeah,
Too, when Kamir finds OSHA lying there on Kofar, the theme plays.
yeah, which is really interesting. And some of the Knights of Ren, like there's a lot of theory on the Knights of Ren and what they do, and some of the like induction practices and whatnot that go on with the Knights of Ren seemed kind of similar to what Kamir did with the sisters. So, I mean, there's a lot of connection. We still don't really know if what exactly he is, and this is how episode 8 ties in because we got that huge cameo by Plagueis in the cave, which I think makes me question everything a lot because if Plagueis is around, and we talked a lot about this, if Plagueis is around, I'm curious what the time frame really is. Like if he is still an apprentice to what's his name? I forget the name of the master.
I think was
Tenebris. Yeah. So if Tenebris is still around, is Plagueis still an apprentice to Tenebris, or is Plagueis working around with finding his own apprentices, and maybe Kamir is one of them? And it's curious. Like,
my thought too was, does Kamir know he's there?
yeah, that was the other thing too. Like, and I don't think it's out of this, like out of the realm of possibility that Kamir is just a rogue, with him being turned the way that he was with Venestra and that light whip. It's possible he is just a practicer of the dark side away from the rule of two, and that Plagueis is figuring this out and that there's a rival about. So
And he said, I'm going to go there and I'll just hide in the shadows and observe this guy and see what he's up to.
I wouldn't doubt it, and I think for many people that would confirm or help confirm the Knights of Ren thing because the Knights of Ren are more of a splinter cell, and this guy's kind of a splinter, really. Like if it could be a splinter in a weird way. So
Fifth episode, but I don't think he's.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, that could be just a red herring in the weird way. I mean, he could just be saying that, like not everything he says has to be truthful. He does say in episode 8, when did I give you the perception that you could trust me? To someone like OSHA. It's curious. Does he say everything that he means? And probably not. He probably doesn't. So we really don't know anything about Kamir really because he could have lied about everything up to this point. He could just be a totally random dude. I mean, most people still call him the stranger. Like his name really isn't even Kamir to a lot of people because
Stranger. Yeah.
yeah, but he's Kamir, the poison dealer or whatever from that third episode or second episode.
Yeah, they call it an apothecary, like
Yeah, an apothecary, but
drugstore, or a pharmacist. Now,
yeah, but really, his name probably isn't even Kamir. It probably isn't. He is the stranger. And every piece of Star Wars media posted on like Instagram or whatever does the same thing. They don't say he's Kamir, they say he's the stranger. So
now
as
back to
good.
back to the old now Legends Clone Wars cartoon. I think his name was Gendy Tartakov that did that one. Remember there was that one episode where Dooku meets Asajj, and she calls herself Sith. He just laughs at her. He says something
Yeah.
that you fight like the Sith, you have the trappings of the Sith, but these can be imitated.
Yeah. So maybe it's just an homage. I mean, they might have paid homage to the old Clone Wars by saying that Kamir's a Sith, but he's not.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be a really cool way
He's imitating
to do it.
the trappings of it, but he's not really. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a really cool way to do it. Don't show the real Sith in the first season. Make it seem like this guy's the big bad. But in reality, if they do a season 2, they could show Plagueis or Tenebris or something like that as really the big bads around. It wouldn't be Palpatine yet, too early, but something like that could be really interesting to show that maybe Kamir or the Stranger isn't really everything that he says he is, and maybe he is just lying.
So going
So,
back to the last episode, though, she has a helmet on, which has an interesting effect to her. She starts, hyperventilating. Basically, he has to pull her out of it. His eyes
mhm.
when he's doing that, which is interesting. And
Yep, just like her mother doing that to possess Torben.
so does he have some connection to them too? But he gets the mask off her, and he struggles with it too. And
Mhm.
she has a vision of her sister killing Saul without a weapon. And
Mhm.
we find out it's actually her that does it. So
Yeah. Well, and I mean, this is once again like I wonder if this is like the curse of the chosen one, so to speak, because that's exactly what Anakin does, and he's also a creation from a virgin. Like he has, because they both have really high M counts. That was said in episode 7. Both Osha and May have the exact same, scheme for I can't remember what they called it, but and they both have really high M counts.
yeah,
So if something like a really high M count forces you to have really vivid visions, I wouldn't be shocked if both of them fell to the same exact trap that Anakin did when he saw, his vision with Padme. I mean, he thought he was, or that she was going to die in childbirth, and it just so happened that what he did caused that.
yeah,
Just like with what Osha saw, what she saw, she caused it, not May.
right,
So maybe it's just it's the plight of the people created from emergence. It's their M counts are so high that they have such vivid dreams and they cause you know a lot of pain. Maybe that's just something they're destined to do. So I don't know, but it's a pretty curious thing. And eventually she does go to Brendock. I thought it was really cool that the last episode brought us back to the scene of the crime. Firstly, I thought that was really cool. Osha, May, and really all the core cast members, were dealing with what they saw in the past and reliving it through voices and all that. So I thought that was really neat.
yeah,
But,
yeah. I did too. I did too. I enjoyed that quite a lot.
mhm.
Oh yeah. What was I going to say next? Oh yeah. So while she's doing that, she's holding Saul's lightsaber, and the crystal bleeds. And
Mm,
in that,
amazing scene.
and maybe talked about in the books. It's the first time we've seen it in any TV show or movie, animated or live action. So
Yep.
how that worked, and I thought when she ignited the lightsaber, it was going to pop out of there red, but it
Hmm.
acts like Kylo's lightsaber for a little bit, spark
Hmm.
that stuff, and then it goes from blue to red. I thought that was an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a really cool way to do it because it shows the process of it. And I remember when we talked about it, I was talking about the Vader comic that he does the same thing. He bleeds it himself through all of his pain and stuff like that. So, like you said, we've seen it in comics before, but we've never seen it in live action. So I thought they did a really good job of it. I mean, honestly, that was some really cool effects that they did. Um, and I mean, yeah, it didn't take much for Osha to feel that way when she heard the confession from the person that had been lying to her for years about everything. I mean, Soul was trying to save her, protect her, or something, but in doing so, hid a truth that she's been trying to find out for years and created, in his own way by lying, created a monster. So just goes to show maybe be truthful to people you teach.
Yep.
You know,
And the other thing we saw
but
seen before was the mind May. So we knew
yep, that was really cool.
that was
Yep.
cool. So that's going to lead to, if there is a second season, I think this next season, if we get it, is going to be her and Vernestra going on this mission to
To
find
find the stranger.
Ocean Kamir or the Stranger, or whatever you want to call him, and maybe
Hmm.
they're going to encounter Plagueis on the way. Who knows?
Maybe I think it'd be really cool to see that. I think if they do a second season, it'd make a lot of sense for Vanestra and the Stranger to have a fight, because I mean, there's going to be dialogue there. I mean, they might even do a flashback for that. I mean, if this season did a flashback for that tragedy, I mean, Vanestra's been hiding her own tragedy then the whole time. So was Saul. So she judges Saul for maybe hiding things, but she's doing the same thing. So
They're all
not
characters. They're all plot.
not not completely off the hook, for sure not. So, and then proceeds to deepen the lie even more to hide hers when Saul meets his end to
Right.
Osha, who kills him. and go. I really like the whole dynamic with the Senate in or at least like that congressman or whatever. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I mean, firstly, one of the biggest reasons I like the show Andor is because of the political intrigue. So for them to bring some of that into the Acolyte was huge. I like that stuff.
Me too.
Um, but seeing like that audit of the Jedi, I mean, it's just a start. I mean, the Senate's been weary of the Jedi now since 100 years, and when you see the Jedi again in the prequel era, they're still kind of wary of them. They don't really know what to think, and so much so that they believe that they're incompetent to be able to fight against big armies. So they employ a bunch of clones to do so for them and such, and that mistrust later on leads to their demise at the hands of Palpatine, and makes it really easy for him to say that the Jedi were traitors in Episode 3 of uh, Revenge of the Sith. So, but
Oh,
yeah, I mean, it's been building for hundreds of years now.
yeah, yeah.
So.
Well, we fast forward to Phantom Menace. There's already that mistrust there of the
Oh
Senate
yeah,
and the Chancellor. There's not much talk about Chancellor Valorum's relationship with the Jedi, but it feels like there's not a connection there either.
no, not really. I mean,
Definitely don't trust Palpatine. So
no.
I know.
So, but no, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to bring all that, and then we got to see. I can't remember the name of the Chancellor that we saw in the Acolyte, but we got to see a non-human
Relic.
relic. Yeah, I think that's right. But we not human. That's the first we've seen of a non-human chancellor in Coruscant. So I thought that was pretty neat to see him, and he was all for an audit too. So seems like everybody's on board with that.
Everybody's on board with the audit. So then that one senator there, you don't like me, do you? He tells Renestra, and
Mhm.
they've known each other, I think, for a while, and that sort of.
Yeah, I mean, he even mocks that "May the Force be with you." He's like, "What do you guys say?" and makes him sound like he's all.
All the time. Yeah,
Mhm.
he's a jerk. But anyway,
Yeah, he definitely gives me political vibes. But I mean, it just shows the mistrust, and that mistrust is around in the prequel era too. So it just shows you research was done for this show, and we're just establishing up, kind of building up, really, to what we get to see a lot more when we actually get to the movies that George Lucas made. So I thought that's really cool.
yeah, that was cool.
But, yeah.
And then, so we'll jump ahead now because, like I said, we're limited on time here. I think we want to talk about one more thing after the acolyte here, but we got a cameo right at the very end of episode 8, and Renestra comes.
Mm-hmm.
I must talk to you, Master. And I knew when she said that, I knew who we were going to see in the camera pants down. We see the green head and the big.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't know who that guy is, but I hope that we can see him again.
Yeah. I don't know either. What a weirdo, right? But no, I hope so too. And part of the reason I think we're probably going to get an announcement for a second season too is, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but I think people would be a little angry that they didn't use Yoda like that. So if there is any other reason, if all those other reasons go out the door, this is the one I'm riding on to say that they're going to do something different. They're going to do a second season for this, and
I'll tell you what, I think they've greenlit the second season. I think they're just not ready to announce it yet. I was
yeah, and
San Diego Comic Con this weekend, but it didn't. Now D20
mhm.
next month, that might come then. It might come some other time later in the year. I have a feeling they've greenlit it because I think she would have. I think she would have tied up some of the loose ends a little bit better than she did if she was unsure. If she was going to get another crack at it.
Yeah, and for me, the way I look at it too is with all the Disney series we've gotten ever for Star Wars, the ones that are meant to close out, like they're done. Like Kenobi doesn't feel like it would ever need a second season because the way that they wrapped it up was a wrap up. It felt pretty wrapped up.
Wrapped up, a wrap up. I mean,
Yeah, like all the ones that needed a wrap up did. They're done. Like, maybe could, some of them could lead to like an offshoot series or something stupid like that. But, in terms of another season, they never made sense or they wouldn't make sense. But something like this feels like you could, you know, there's a lot of unanswered questions. They got a lot to answer for with everything. So we're not done yet. I don't think we're done yet.
Okay, I know we skipped through a lot of stuff there. There was a lot of things we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about the controversy with his birth date there, Kiadi Mundy's birthday.
Or the cover up or whatever. I thought that was funny. But
Anyway, we picked the high points for us anyhow. Enough people talked about the Kiadi Monday thing online. I don't get into that. So we want to boogie through here because we probably got another, I don't know, or we're probably going to get that notification on our screen here again that
Probably pretty soon. Yeah.
10 minutes left. So the next topic we want to jump to is, and thanks for being patient with us, everyone. We're going to jump into upcoming projects. And one of the things that I read just the other day here, or heard on one of the shows earlier this week, was that apparently some test audiences were shown. I don't know if it was some footage. I don't know how much footage. I don't know if we're talking a full episode. I don't know if we're talking 5 or 10 minute snippets. But of Skeleton Crew was shown to some test audiences, and that the test audiences did not react. Now, again, without further information, we obviously don't know. Those people who were there signed NDAs, so they're not going to talk about what they saw. But the word is that test audiences didn't react well. Does that give you any concerns about the show? Because it sounds like it is going to be different. It's going to kind of focus on these 4 kids that are trapped with this other guy, the Jude Law. Does it give you any concerns about that show, or are you like me? You can wait and dive into it and see what it's like.
See, I don't know. So, I mean, I guess because they've signed NDAs, I really don't know what they would have troubles with. So, I do question if some of it is the kids. I wonder if people aren't not super on top of watching a show where the main audience is kids. Um, but then I challenge it because I know a lot of people love other series. Like I don't know if you heard of the series Stranger Things, but the 4 cast there, those are 4 co-star kids that are all like the main characters.
Somewhere. So
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sci-fi show, kind of similar to Star Wars in a weird way, but all, the main characters of that show are all kids and people love that show. So I doubt it. I doubt that the issue is with the kids because I think that, if you pick good child actors, and we've seen good child actors in Star Wars too. I thought the child actor that played young Leia did a really good job in Kenobi, you know.
oh my God.
So I don't necessarily think that the issue is with the child actors. I think there's probably a deeper connection to it. Maybe people don't like the pacing or something, or but once again, it all depends what they were shown because I really don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody knows that. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I feel too about that. I wanna go into everything with an open mind. I go into it thinking, I might like this, I might not, and I'm usually happily surprised that, you know, I usually end up liking it. So I mean, there's a
Yeah, and there's always a lot of negativity surrounding stuff online now. I don't know if something happened over the last couple of years that I've never been aware of necessarily, but I'm thinking maybe some of it's just because of the negativity. Maybe it's just something that people do now. I don't know, but either way,
since the
you know, there was a lot of negativity about this show, The Acolyte, and I thought it was really great. So, I take everything that I hear on the internet now with the largest grain of salt that can fit through a salt shaker. And I move on because I like these shows, and maybe the critics don't think about the same things I do. So I think ratings like this can only be taken so lightly. I think they should keep going with the show. If hopefully that doesn't cause them to stop or do anything silly like that or change their pace. Hopefully they keep going with what they were going to do.
I think they're too far into it. Guys, I think it's coming out. Someone I read, was it the Resistance broadcast I was watching? I think they said it's coming around Christmas time.
Yeah, so we'll see, I guess. But
That's somewhere in the pipeline that's coming.
Mhm.
Coming right toward the end of the year. Okay, so the other thing that I had heard was that the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is going to start filming here soon, and that they have already filmed. The way it was worded was they have already filmed time-sensitive scenes. So folks are thinking that's probably the Pedro Pascal stuff because he's got a tight schedule.
Mhm.
He's going to be in the Fantastic Four, which I think is coming up 6 or maybe late next year. I can't remember. He's on like 2 or 3 other TV shows, and so
Yeah, his career is really blown up. I mean, I don't know if that's all because of the Mandalorian or not, but I think it's a big deal to.
show he was in. He was big before the Mandalorian. And I can't remember the name of the show.
Mhm. Yeah, there was a huge internet boom not too long ago where everybody was calling him Internet Daddy because he was like on everything. So people love him. So no wonder he's getting so much fame for everything that he's been doing. He's a great actor. So I'm glad that they're, moving ahead with the filming on that and that they've filmed some of his scenes. So if he does get, caught up doing something, they don't have to, sacrifice any of his core scenes. So that's good.
They haven't said it was his scenes that they did, but that's the That's the feeling because he's.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I'd say that's probably likely. There it is. There's the 10-minute marker. Haha, we called it
Oh,
in a weird way.
we got 10 minutes. We should be able to wrap it up here. So, um, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think that what's going to happen here too is that that's probably not coming back to Disney Plus. I think the Mandalorian and Grogu now are going to be in movies. It doesn't make sense that they're going to, bump this up to, big screen movie type storytelling, and then turn around and bump it back down, to Disney Plus,
Mhm.
on streaming, and kind of feel like that would be kind of like a drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're probably gonna keep going with what they got. I
Yeah,
think with everything they've advertised so far. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that's coming. I think that's coming in May of 2026. They actually stuck a date on that. I think it's 21st, 22nd, or somewhere around there. So we've actually got a date. I didn't look.
Yeah, and I mean, we've gotten dates on stuff before, and it's gotten pushed back. But whenever they did, because what is it? Didn't they push back Kenobi or something? They pushed back something, and
That was going to be a movie. That was going to be.
yeah, they changed that.
Yeah, they got skittish on the movies after Solo. I mean, Solo made money, but it didn't make the money they were thinking it was going to make. But
Mhm.
released it in May. They released it right after Avengers: Infinity War.
Mhm.
It was
I
bad.
think it was less about the format that they picked and more about the timing for everything else. I think
They would have stuck with December. If they would have brought that movie out in December 2018, I think it would have done better.
I think so too. They were just competing with too many heavy hitters at the time. So I don't know. They probably took it too literally and thought that the movie was the problem when it probably wasn't.
Well, they thought they
So
might be able to do probably two movies a year, like Marvel was doing, and now it turns out Marvel can't do two movies a year. It looks like they're scaling back. So
yeah, I don't know, but I am looking forward to getting another movie, like a Star Wars movie, because like I like going to the movie theaters, but recently there hasn't been anything out there that I've been like, yeah, I'm gonna go see that. So I haven't literally been in a movie theater for, I mean, since we went to go see the Phantom Menace, but that wasn't even new. That was just a reshowing, you know. So, but to see something new, I don't think I've been to the theaters for years, seeing something new.
it's been almost 3 years for me. I went with my friend Derek to see the last James Bond movie. I think that was 2021.
Yeah, so I'm really excited if they release something, if they actually choose to release it as a movie, which, like I said, they probably will. Um, I'd love that because it would give me an excuse to go spend my money in a place in a place where I'd be happy to do it. So, I'm down for it.
You graduate college, so we'll have to time it so we can get together and go see it.
Yeah, yeah. So for sure, but realistically, it should work out pretty good. And I'm doing what we're doing right now too, with being states away and making even this podcast work out. I think it's good format, but
Yep.
so yeah, we're making it count. Technology's advancing, and so are we. So we're going for it.
There you go. There you go. So awesome. All right. So what do you think there, Rob? About we wrap it up here, and I'll get
Yep.
it to our Facebook page and YouTube. I'll do it parts 1 and 2. We were talking about maybe editing it together, but I'll just call it part 1, part 2. Go
Yeah,
that.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll send
Yep.
you the links when I get them uploaded.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching along and watching this chaos inevitably unfold. Because just as
5 of our subscribers.
yeah, heck yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm one of them. So pat myself in the back or
And I'm
something. I
one
don't
too,
know.
so we've actually got
Yeah, but for all the viewers, if
that. So
yeah, maybe. But who knows? But either way, is the new format for us. So as crazy as it was following along with two parts, thank you for anybody who chooses to tune in.
yeah,
If anybody really likes what they saw here, go ahead and recommend us on socials or your friends and family, what have you, and we'd really appreciate that. So, yeah.
YouTube, and like I said, tell your friends about us. If you're just stumbling across us doing a search on YouTube and you like it, we don't do any fancy graphics or intros or outros. It's raw and unedited, and that's the way we like to do it.
Yep. So, but yeah, so
My kitchen. If you look on the fridge back here, I'm pointing the right way. These were done by the man on your left here. He was 3 years old. He gave those to his grandmother. One is a drawing of him and his grandmother taking a walk outside, and that further one over there, he did some interesting coloring on some battle droids from the prequel era. So
Heck yeah. See, I'm something of an artist, something like that. So
you're one of the few male artistic ability. The artistic ability in the family was all with the girls, and I can't draw a stick figure, so
yeah, well, now it's all just engineering drawings and specific stuff. But either way, I still got some of it. There's some drawing skills in these fingers here, I guess.
All right, everyone, and we will catch you next time. Probably we'll be together next time we do another one.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah, for sure. But the only thing this means is that when I go back to Michigan again later on, and well, actually early 2025,
holidays, yeah.
we can actually do this again. So we won't be.
And I might go ahead and upgrade to Pro. I'll see what it costs. I might go ahead and upgrade to just so we don't have to deal with the time thing. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
But yeah,
and I'm buying a new computer soon too, so I'll probably wait and get my new computer and do it then.
yep,
Awesome. All right, man. Take care, and thanks to everyone out there. So I'm just gonna disconnect it now, and we'll talk to you soon.
sounds good. All right.
Take care. Yeah.
Yep.